It took me probably 5 years to actually create any momentum in the game of business. I was making money, but finally had a team and I had a business that could actually run day to day without me being in the operations. And again, it took me 5 years to get to this point. And so I finally was able to buy back my time. And so finally I had time I could hang out with my family. And so I no longer had to eat breakfast alone in my office or brush my teeth at the gym. And I was able to actually hire a personal trainer, right? Like to actually have someone hold me accountable and to push me as well. And so I started a gym back in 2013 because fitness had changed my life. And ultimately, I wanted to help other people help experience the same feeling that I had. But how could I really help others if I wasn't even taking my own advice, right? While my business had finally started to create some momentum, my body was actually declining. It's like a pain in the butt because when you own a gym but you're not in great shape, it's like you feel like this misalignment. And so when I finally saw an opportunity to actually take on a 6-week challenge of myself, like I jumped at it. And so I was actually inspired by Alex's famous 35-pound weight gain transformation. And so, but not do I just want to do that and match that, but I wanted to beat it. And so my goal when I set out to do this was to gain 40 pounds in 42 days. And so it was a Herculean effort, but after 6 weeks or 42 days, I hit that goal. And so it was a fun experience. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. You guys can see from this picture, like those pictures are literally 42 days apart. It was a wild ride, but the celebration was honestly pretty short. And the reason why it was short was because literally probably days after this challenge, I developed a severe dehydration, like one that had me consuming water like I was trying to breathe. The insatiable thirst that led me to using the bathroom to 3 times an hour because I just kept on drinking water and water. I was trying to get fluids down, but nothing, like everything would just went right through me. Color in my face and energy levels were decreasing really, really fast. And one day I woke up and I just couldn't see anything. And that's when I was like, okay, this is serious. And my wife, Katie, who I think she just hopped on, she rushed me to the ER. Hours later, had a doctor just standing there over the top of me. And he had basically gave me an ultimatum. And so after running a bunch of tests and analyzing them, he came in and he shared his diagnosis and how he interpreted all the results. And he said, Logan, do you know the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes? And I did. I actually had a brother who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when we were kids. And he told me, he's like, Logan, type 1 diabetes is what happens when your pancreas no longer produces insulin. And this makes you insulin dependent for the rest of your life. There is no curing it. This is just the way it is. Type 2 diabetes is pancreas just needs some help, right? It needs a little bit of help. Usually diet and exercise can help out with this. You could take metformin, which is a pill. But ultimately, he told me that I had type 1 diabetes. And I was actually pretty shocked in that moment. I was like 30 years old, and generally type 1 diabetes, also known as juvenile diabetes, gets diagnosed when you're a kid. I really had 2 initial thoughts that came flooding into my brain. And the first one would be like, is this actually be the death of me, right? Is it going to be something that I use as an excuse? Is it something that I can like blame on? That's the reason why I don't go out there and like chase my dreams and my goals. And I make it something that is going to hold me back. Or could this actually be an opportunity? Could this be an opportunity for me to take a shitty situation and make it into something that's truly amazing? And I knew what the answer was. I knew what I needed to do, but I was unsure of how to do it. After I left the doctor that day, I remember thinking right to myself, I was like, okay, I need to do this. Started looking around like, who knows how to do this? Who can help me? Who's the person who can put me in a position to help me fight this disease? And that who turned out to be a man named Dr. Trevor Kashi. And so I ended up meeting Dr. Kashi through Gym Launch. He was the nutrition expert for all the gym owners, like anytime anyone had it. And so I ended up reaching out to him and telling him my situation, telling him what had happened. We hopped on a Zoom call and he agreed to let me give him lots of money in return for doing the impossible, which was curing me of type 1 diabetes. Track data, start to get numbers, because ultimately when we have data, then we actually can make informed decisions. And so if it could be tracked, I tracked it. Everything from what I put into my body from a food standpoint, calories, macros, how much sleep I got, how much activity I did, what my workouts were, what my blood sugars were, what my body weight was. Man, it was a lot, right? I tracked a lot of data. My life literally became a spreadsheet. I called it Logan's health spreadsheet. And it was through this whole process that I really discovered the power of data in making informed decisions, because not once did he ever ask me emotional questions that weren't backed up by the data. And so I learned by working with Dr. Kashi how to turn an emotional game into a game of numbers. And armed with data points and a guide and a goal, shared enough with you guys to tell you probably that like I'm winning this game against diabetes. And to be clear, like it is a fight. It is a fight. My A1C is down to 5.4, which is in the normal range, right? I no longer use fast-acting insulin. Most diabetics, when they go to eat, you'll see them have to poke themselves, or if they have a pump, they will push their numbers in and they'll get fast-acting insulin to combat the carbohydrates that they eat. And I no longer have to use that. I also use less than 10 units of slow-acting insulin a day. And so honestly, that varies anywhere from 6 to 8 units on average. And so yeah, it's been a really cool experience. Coming from that day, the doctor told me that is something that I will deal with, and it'll be a pain in the ass forever. And every time I visit my local endocrinologist, who is technically my diabetes doctor, it's always a delightful experience. Maybe even more for my wife than me. She sits over in the corner and she just she just brags me up, and the doctor just is like, he's in disbelief of like what my numbers are and how much insulin I'm taking, and he just hasn't seen anything like it before. It's a pretty fun experience, and my body from a physical standpoint has responded really nicely as well. I've lost over 50 pounds since that initial diagnosis, feel a lot lighter, feel a lot better. Everything is just going really nicely. And so that power of data, it didn't stop at my health. It has since transcended into our cleaning business. In our cleaning business, like I've never cleaned. It's just I don't do sales calls. I don't do customer support. I don't do interviews. I don't do team meetings. I run the cleaning business literally based on 2 spreadsheets, all based on data, right? And the data shows that we have grown this cleaning business from $0 to $70,000 in 2 years.
Are you a cleaning business owner looking to scale? Well, I have just research for you. See, I did a free masterclass where I shared an automated marketing funnel, I shared a customized sales system, and I shared a recruiter funnel. So if you want access to all those funnels, plus interview scripts, trainer SOPs, onboarding processes, all you need to do is click the link down below, create your free account. I look forward to seeing you inside. Let's go.